Good morning, everybody. Can I have more energy, please? All of you had your breakfast? Okay. So let's have more energy and then let's make it very interactive. And that's the purpose of me coming here, so that we can have a very good interaction with each other. So respected dignitaries on the dais, Sajid, Althea, and Roshni ma'am, and all the dignitaries from Elance. I can see proud rank holders, proud students of ACCA who are pursuing, and then I also see proud parents who have come to celebrate their achievements. So I'll not make it very lengthy, but I will cover a few aspects that you need to keep in mind. So when I came here, I was asking, what am I supposed to speak about? And I was told that our ACCA students are worried about career opportunities. So I'm like, why are you worried about career opportunities? You are part of a global professional accounting profession. It's a truly global accounting profession, and which is accepted in multiple countries across the world. And one thing that I'm fascinated about all the great work that ACCA does is the number of MOUs that they have signed, right? So even if you don't want to work in one of those countries where ACCA is the primary qualification, you always have the option to switch into the secondary qualifications that you have. They have all sorts of MOUs that they have signed. So there is no dearth of career opportunities for professionally qualified accountants, and they're actually opening corridors for a global career opportunity for all of you. Any doubt about that? You should not be doubtful at all, because you are going to be one of the top-notch professional accountants of the world, right? So there's nothing to be doubtful about. So what is in it? How do you land up in those dream jobs that you want to be? So that's something that we will touch upon. But before that, is anybody aware how many performance objectives needs to be covered? So there is a PER requirement, right? Practical experience requirement that you need to complete before you get your membership. Is anybody aware how many performance objectives are there? 9. How many performance objectives? So ACCA has defined 5 essential performance objectives, which is mandatory for membership. And then there are 17 other performance objectives. So overall 21 performance objectives. Okay? For the benefit of the parents who are seated here, performance objectives എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ 21 മേഖലകളായിട്ടാണ് ഞാൻ കാണുന്നത്. കരിയർ ചോയ്സസ് ആയിട്ടാണ് കാണുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ 21 കരിയർ ഓപ്ഷൻസ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. You have 21 different streams in which you can start your careers. Yeah? Does it make sense? So I see them as 21 different career opportunities for you to start your career, right? Be it in tax, be it in accounting, be it in audit, be it in consulting. So there are so many different career opportunities available to you to choose from. And that's why ACCA has given you 21 performance objectives in which you can start your career, you can do your practice, and then get your membership. And what was that 9 all about? Somebody told me 9. What was the 9 all about? Your 5 essentials and any 4 of the remaining 17 where you can practice and get your membership. Right? Is that correct? Yes, so that's the 9, that's where the 9 is coming from. So which means the world is at your fingertips. After doing ACCA, you have 21 different or even more different types of career choices that are available to you, right? And if you complete 9, you can get your membership, and then the world is open for you to start your career or restart your career in any of those different opportunities, right? And I can vouch that EY is one organization which has the option to practice all the 21, right? So that's the kind of organization. So global organizations like EY, KPMG, the big 4 organizations or consulting organizations, they give you an option to practice your careers across all the 21 performance objectives, which means we have the length and breadth of everything that ACCA has defined as performance objectives. Which also means that, and this is something that I keep repeating in all my sessions, everything that is written in your syllabus is very much what we do at work. Okay? So people are worried about audit and assurance, one tough paper, so-called tough paper. Financial reporting, people, oh my God, right? So everything that you study in all the 13 papers is exactly what we do at work, right? And what are we as corporates expecting out of you? To start with, you may be fresh qualified ACCAs who come in for an interview. What do we start with? What do we need as a basic expectation? What is the basic expectation? Go ahead. Audit. We will not be, we will not expect you to be knowing how to do audit, but what will be the basic expectation? Knowledge about what you have learned in the paper, right? Right. So we practice IFRS 15, for example, in audit or in other services, but then we would expect you to at least know what IFRS 15 is all about, right? Or IFRS 16 is all about. So what is that expectation from you is to have the conceptual knowledge of what you have learned in all of those papers and your ability to apply those concepts in scenarios. And that's what makes you stand out in an interview. So one person came to me for the interview and they said, I had prepared 12th standard accountancy for the interview. I said, you are an ACCA. We will only ask you about IFRS. We will definitely ask you about IFRS and we will expect you to be telling us your understanding or your application of how these standards are applied. Very, very clear. So that is one basic expectation. So conceptual clarity is something that is extremely important, right? So like Sajid mentioned, practice, practice, practice. That's the only mantra for success, right? And even for when you come for the interview, your ability to apply the concepts that you've learned and answer the scenarios that are thrown in front of you is what makes you successful. Make sense? I think that's something that you will need to really ingrain. While you're going through this journey, I know the focus is on getting that 50 marks, right? The primary focus is on getting that 50 marks. But then I would say the primary focus should be in grasping. You need to get that 50 marks to qualify, obviously. But why not 75 or 80? So the primary objective should be to really completely understand everything that is taught in each of those papers and being able to apply the concepts that you've learned. And sometimes people come to me for the interview and say that, oh sir, I did financial reporting paper 2 years ago. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the 5 steps in IFRS 15. So I'm like, you cannot afford to forget, right? Because that's something that you're going to be practicing or really doing when you come to our workplace. I'll give you one small story of why I did ACCA. So my primary qualification was company secretaryship. And my skill or my work domain was internal audit. So I used to do internal audit for clients. And thanks to EY, after joining EY, my clientele was all in the Middle East and North Africa region. So I was working with international clients, global clients. And again, very coincidentally, Middle East was moving into IFRS. So they had their own accounting standards and everything. And the entire Middle East countries, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, and all of those, they were moving into IFRS. So they were implementing IFRS for the first time. All their finance departments were changing the ways of reporting to be aligned with IFRS. So I was here going and doing internal audits for them. So what I realized is that the entire finance departments were completely confused and clueless about these new standards which have come, and they were implementing those standards. And that's when the spark came that yes, I will need to be having that professional accounting duty. I need to learn IFRS. I need to understand IFRS. Otherwise, I will not be able to help my clients in identifying things that they are doing wrong or providing them value-added recommendations for improvement and all of that. So that's the spark that got me to do ACCA at a much later age than yours. I had all excuses of not studying ACCA. I had my family, I had my kids, I had my work responsibilities running. I had all sorts of excuses not to study. But then I thought this qualification is going to give me that edge, and it actually gave me that edge. So while I was doing my audit and assurance and financial reporting. I did those two papers together. When I was doing those papers, I could really add value at my client because I was able to apply everything that I was learning in my client scenario. I could see the application of IFRS 15 or IAS 16 and all of that coming into life in the client scenarios. And there was a lot of advice that I was able to give to the client, even when I was part qualified, to improve their operations. The client CFO was elated, and I would not have got any better feedback than this, even from my office colleagues or superiors. The CFO said, this guy knows IFRS, so anything related to IFRS, ask him. I was like, I'm yet not qualified. But then the amount of value it really gives you in terms of your professional knowledge, in terms of your conceptual knowledge is amazing. But if you have to take it in the right sense, right? You will have to read upon everything that you learn, understand practical applications and scenarios, and that is what will help you crack examination. And the only thing that helped me crack examinations at a later age was I was practicing it unknowingly or knowingly because I was in the client delivering work for the clients, and then it was very easy. It was an easy journey for me, right? So that's something that you need to keep in mind. That focus has to be there, that real willingness and motivation to practically apply and learn about the concepts, learn more about the concepts. Just than getting that 50 marks, just focus about how these things really apply in the practical scenario, and that will completely make you stand out. Okay? So that's number one aspect of conceptual clarity that you will need to. You have to keep on building on it, right? So the moment you join companies like us, we will again get you certified on IFRS. We'll again make you do all sorts of learnings and other things. But then that initial thoroughness of learning has to come from you. And that's the key ask. And that thoroughness of learning will obviously contribute in making you pass the exams faster. Okay? Now, the biggest question here is, okay, I'm doing this qualification. Everybody is saying there is no dearth of career opportunities, but there are a lot of people who may not land up in jobs, right? Why do you not land up in jobs quickly? What could be the reason? So EY as an organization, we hire about 300 plus ACCAs every year. So we are 10,000 people in Kerala, between Kochi and Trivandrum. And then we hire about 300 plus ACCAs every year. And my region alone hires about 150 ACCAs every year. Can you imagine the number of applications that we receive? Yeah? Any thoughts on the number of applications that we receive for 150 positions? Any number? Any ballpark number will do. How many applications do you think we receive for 150 positions every year? 5,000? Oh, that's a huge number. Yeah. So we receive around at least 3-4 times, right? So for 150 positions, we end up receiving 500-600 applications. And there is a screening test that happens and, all of that. And then there is a grilling interview that we do. All of that happens. And then finally people get selected. So how do you become that shortlisted person among the 500 or 600 applications that come in? What is that mantra of getting shortlisted? So remember, all these 500, 600 people are ACCA affiliates. Huh? So how do you get shortlisted? Bright smile will not get you shortlisted. How do you get shortlisted? Yeah? Everybody is ACCA, so how will you make your CV stand out? What do corporates need when they look at the CVs? What is that meat in the CV that we look at? Skills. What skills? Sorry? Critical thinking and all, I don't know how will you write in a CV. You'll write critical thinking in the CV. Okay. Well, how will you demonstrate your skills? So ACCA alone is not enough, right? What else can you do? ACCA itself is so difficult to qualify. So then what are you telling? So what else is required? Excel, PowerPoint, Power BI, add on those additional technology. Again, Sajid told you technology, digital, right? So add on those additional skills, right? And these skills will obviously help you in the exam also, because you do spreadsheets in the exam and then you need to be faster. You have very limited time of 3 hours to finish the paper, right? So you need to be faster. So get those additional skills and certification, because corporates are looking for people who come with certain amount of skills that are already there. We'll teach you the rest, but then that basic level of skills is something that you expect. Okay? Very important. So look at additional skills, additional certifications that may add meat to your CV. Second thing is, obviously, Sajid again was pointing out on communication skills. Right? So communication skills, how do you improve communication skills? I have no time other than reading my ACCA books. They are so fat. So how do you really do anything else, right? How do you improve your communication skills? By communicating, right? So stop talking in Malayalam. As much as possible, talk in English, right? Read newspapers, be aware about what's happening around, all of that. And then one thing that I always personally do is I do rehearse in front of a mirror. Before going for the interview, it's okay to rehearse in front of a mirror. So at least that first question gets taken care, no? Your self-introduction part gets taken care. And then that gives you that confidence, right? So when you confidently do that self-introduction, it gives you a lot of confidence. And then the remaining things automatically come. So that the CV has to have is to be meaty with additional skills, be confident in communicating, and then have conceptual clarity. We will definitely ask you about IFRS. We will definitely ask you about your SBL, some of the concepts that you learn in SBL. We'll definitely ask you about financial management or AFM, depending on the competency for which, oh my God, AFM, everybody's like, how dare you? Yeah. So we're definitely going to be asking about all of that. So have those conceptual clarity. Some exams may have, elapsed 6 months back. My books are still in the shelf and nobody has even touched it after that. So it's important that you keep brushing up, important that you take additional skills and certifications, and those are the things that helps you really stand out as a CV. And then when you come into the interview, you will need to stand out by showcasing the skills that you may have and by showcasing your conceptual knowledge. So those things will help you to land up your most career choices. And then even then, there are some people who may not get selected. So you may not be able to start your permanent career to start with, probably. Be open for internship opportunities. Okay? After 9 papers, typically companies hire you as interns. Typically companies hire you as trainees. Be open for any career opportunities, because typically do all the 4 exams in one shot? You will take one by one only, right? So then do whatever it takes, right? Whatever kind of opportunities it comes in. First of all, it adds to your PER. Second thing, it gives you those skills and competencies which you can apply in your exam. Your exam, unfortunately, is going to be more and more practical, more and more scenario based, right? So there's no choice that we have. So the more kind of career opportunities or work opportunities that you pick up, it helps you a better person. It helps you to apply the concepts that you've learned and helps you perform better in your examinations. So don't worry about always getting that, some of you may end up getting that top-notch job. Some of you may not crack it, but then pick up anything. And that experience typically helps you in getting placed after some time, right? But then focus on completing the qualification. After 9 papers, don't run away. Focus on completing the qualification, pick up whatever career opportunities that come up to you, and then be groomed enough. Self-grooming is something that you need to be very, very careful about. Be groomed enough with your skills, your conceptual knowledge to crack those interviews, and then the world is right there open for you. Right? So those are some of the key small things that you will need to keep in mind to crack those career opportunities. And remember one more thing, we all will work together as friends in making your CV, right? And what is your good name? Vaishnav makes excellent CVs. So, Vaishnav's CV will be taken by everybody and then you will all be copy pasting. Only the photo will be changed, everything else will stay. And we will ask you everything that you write in the CV. Every word. Unfortunately, we are like that. Very bad corporates. We will read every word that you write in the CV and ask you questions about it. And then you will be like, oh my God, what have I written? How did this word come? Right? How did this project come? And then we will very clearly catch you that you have not done anything close to what you have written in the CV. That is the first reason to get rejected. Okay? It's okay to copy from very good CVs, right? So, but then make sure you reread the entire CV and write only truthful things about whatever you have done. Because we're going to ask you everything. Everything written in the CV. So write about every skill that you may have, everything that you have done truthfully, and be confident to speak about anything that is written on the CV. Make sense? Has anybody made that mistake? I see that mistake happening very regularly, and that is why I told you, when they come for the interview, they're clueless about some of the paragraphs written in the CV. Yeah? So these are small things that you can change to get into those dream career opportunities, and once you're there, the world is yours. But then even once you're there, be ready to continuously learn. Okay, we will not allow you to stop with ACCA. We will ask you to do internal certifications, IFRS certifications, and whatnot. Right? So be ready to continuously learn and progress, and that's how you enhance and upskill in your careers. Right? So after landing upon the career, also we will give you nightmares to continuously learn and upskill and recertify and all of that. So be prepared for all of that, and for that continuous learning is something that you will need to keep in mind when you land up in your careers, right? So all the very best. So these are small things that you can do to really land up in those dream jobs. And once you're there, I think the career, it's a bright career that's open for you, be it any company that you join, because I personally mentor a lot of ACCA professionals. I see them really excelling in everything that they do, and then growing fast and literally flying around with different beautiful career opportunities that they get within EY or outside of EY. So there's a lot of opportunities open in front of you across the globe. It's just that initial glitch of getting into that dream job. That is what you will need to crack. I think I've given you some tips and tricks of doing it. And then all the very best. Looking forward to see all of you having a very bright future. Also looking forward to see some of these faces in our floors. Whenever you qualify, be open to apply to positions in EY GDS. We are regularly hiring ACCAs. So looking forward to see some of you on the floor as well. All the best. Thank you. Happy to take any questions. If anybody has any question, parents, happy to take any questions if you have. Otherwise, any questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.